Hey, it's your boy Chango coming at you with another video. This video is part 3 of Nick Mullen Year of the Dragon full special. Alright, so this dude, I gotta say, he's pretty funny. He says some dark ass shit. So I'm excited about the rest of this. I split this up into 3 episodes. So if you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, make sure you go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I'm sure it's going to be weird when you're 2/3 of the way in. With that being said, let's get right into it.
I guess. I'm trying to clean up my act. I'm trying to be a better guy. You know? I'm starting a charity. I'll tell you guys this. I can't believe I forgot to tell you already. I'm starting a charity. I'll tell you a little bit about it. It's called Blades for AIDS. And what we do is we buy rollerblades for guys with AIDS. And I know what you're thinking. Those guys already have rollerblades. Yes. You got me there. But as the disease progresses, you lose bone mass, you go down a shoe size, you're going to need new rollerblades, pal. And that's where we come in. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. I have been trying to be better, actually. I've been reading in general, because somebody told me that reading builds empathy, which I didn't even know what that was, I guess. I've been reading, but, you know, I guess I'm in my mid-30s now, so I can't read fiction anymore, because that doesn't fucking work on you. I don't care. People are like, oh, this is beautifully written. I'm like, shut up. What are you talking about? You read a story. And they lived in love forever and ever. What the fuck are you talking about? I need to find a war I can pretend I died in. Those are the kind of books I can read in my low T 30s. Is war history. I'm like, yeah, that's me with the sword. So I've been reading a lot of war history, and I found this out. Apparently, they had something called the French and Indian War. Do you guys know about this? Oof. Imagine how fucking bad that smelled, folks. Oh my. Oh,
that is fucked up. That is fucked up.
I said both of them? What were they fighting over? The Febreze? What the hell? I'm just kidding. I'm not racist. It's just a joke. I'm not racist. I'm not. Unlike Paul Dean, I never say the N-word. I don't say the N-word. I don't think you should. I will say this. There's one exception I make for myself that I think almost every white person makes. It's if I'm in my car by myself listening to rap music. But what can I say? I just really hate rap music. It just really gets on my nerves. I don't know. Those last 3 are just for me. That's very... No. I really do. I do try to check myself, honestly. And you know what? There's something I want to own up to that I did somewhat recently that I feel kind of bad about. But I want to confess to it. I did something misogynistic. And I'll just tell you what it was. It was a couple years ago during the last Winter Olympics, which I was watching with my then girlfriend. And I killed her. And, she's fine. She's both alive and well and also doesn't exist. And I made her up for that. No. We were watching the Winter Olympics, and something happened during the last Winter Olympics that is, it's like kind of the source of frustration for me with comedy, because you get into doing stand-up, if you love it as a kid, you get into doing it because it brings you so much joy. It's like it's this escape, right? But like anything in life, if you start pursuing it, eventually it just becomes technical, right? And it sucks the joy out of it. So now I'll watch the best comedians in the world, right? And what it looks like to me is Matrix code, you know? So it has to be a situation in real life that brings me joy, right? So best comedian, best joke, I just go, that's funny. Deaf guy being chased by bees, I'm like, oh my God, that's fucking perfect. But the problem is those things happen in real life, and then it's your job as a comedian to explain it to the audience why it's funny, and I don't like doing my job, right? So, but during the last Winter Olympics, a thing like that, a very funny situation happened, and I'll tell you guys, I'll just tell you what happened. I'll tell you, here's how they reported it. One of the cross-country skiers, his penis froze off. That's what they said, right? Right? And you guys see, you're barely laughing. You're like, go on. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Of all the ways to lose your dick, I mean, that's fucking... It's like getting sucked into a machine at a Looney Tunes factory and then freezing off at the Winter Olympics. That's the funniest way possible. Because really, build up the image in your head. That's like a 4-hour event. It probably happened halfway through. And this dumbass with that the bullet helmet, it's like, sure, my penis feels weird, but it's the Olympics. I gotta tough it out. It's the Olympics. I'm doing this for Sweden. And he gets across the finish line. It had been hours. You know, it probably worked its way up the fucking... And they're like, he thinks they're putting the medal on them, and they're like, what is that, a baby carrot? What do you have on them? What do you have under your fucking... Anyways, so we're sitting there. I'm crying laughing at this man that lost his dick at the Olympics. And I turn to my girlfriend and I say, well, just give him the women's gold medal, obviously. That seems to be the end. And she quickly fires back. She says, that's really misogynistic. And I was like, fuck. I thought I was being a trans ally. I forgot about it. I'm trying my best here to do the right thing. But she's right. No, she's right. That is misogynistic. It is a misogynistic thought to have, to assume that even the worst dickless guy in the cross-country skiing event would be better than the best woman. But, I mean, cross-country skiing is kind of a joke across the board. It's just cold walking. No one should get a fucking award for that anyways. But, you know, she's right. It is misogynistic. And I genuinely don't want to be a misogynist. I don't want to be any kind of prejudice or whatever. I want to be a good guy. So I had to do some soul searching. I said, well, why do I have thoughts like this, right? Is it something innate in me that makes me bad, or, like most things, is it society's fault, right? And you would be surprised to learn that it's society. It is. It is society's fault, yeah. Because I blame the education system, I do. I mean that, because I was thinking about this, and this is real. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking back to elementary school, and I remembered that we didn't do women's history, right? Which it doesn't seem that absurd to just throw that out there at face value. But if you think about it, we definitely had other identity-based history units, right? Like we had Native American history, which, to be fair, was mostly, hey, come to school dressed like a Native American. Which probably did more harm than good. I don't know if that really helped. But we had Black History Month. I remember that. I'm sure you guys did too. You remember that? February roll around, they'd be like, hey, you like peanut butter? Well, have I got news for you, pal? Yeah, the peanut butter. That was them. No, not the grape jelly, the peanut butter. Yeah. The grape jelly was us. They did the peanut butter. I know you would think that it would be the other way, but... Yeah, it's crazy. It's sort of like the jazz of sandwiches. It's awesome. It worked out. And then, of course, you get to the end of February, be like, did black people invent anything other than peanut butter? And they'd be like, whoa, look at the time. I guess we don't want a revolution here. Might as well close the book now, I guess. But we never did women's history. That was just not one of the units that we did, which is funny to me because I was thinking, like, did they teach us about any women in history? And there was only 2 names that I could recall. It was Amelia Earhart and Helen Keller, which is very funny that they were planning the curriculum and they were like, hey, we got to do women's history. Who are the most important women of all time? We only got room for 2, so they better be good. Okay, here we go. I got one. How about some lady that was so bad at flying, they never found her. Just gone forever without a trace. That is the best girl pilot we ever had, so we'll... Bon voyage, ladies. We'll put her in there. And we need one more. Oh, I know. How about a little girl that was so disabled, people were like, damn. Oh my God. She's trying to talk to a doorknob. We gotta put this in the history. It's like they're Ben Franklin, basically. Severely disabled little girl. Yeah, it was crazy. Anyone else do the thing, too, where your brain, like, confuses Helen Keller and Anne Frank? The thing where they just merge. Like, I have that. It's the same process as, like, fucking those 2 Gary Busey and Nick Nolte. My brain's like, that's the same guy. And then Michael Douglas and Martin Sheen. It's like, it's like your brain doing like a mini racism. You know, where it's just picks two people and like, hey, look at all these Gary Buseys over here. You know, it's just fucking the two of them. But yeah, Anne Frank and Helen Keller, that's a weird one, right? Because they have nothing in common, other than they were both like little girls. And one couldn't speak, and the other one wasn't allowed to. I guess it would have been pretty fucking bad if they had Helen Keller in that attic. That would have been a tough job. Just like, I'm trying my best. What do you have up there, a monster? Bring us the monster! Bring the monster down here now! They probably would have just left her there. They're like, yeah, this is worse than anything we could do. To just be trapped in a prison under your face. I think that's probably a fate worse than death. With Helen Keller, too, wasn't it just, it was like her caretaker was the only person that could, like, talk to her, right? Did anyone check? Was there any way to check? Because that could have just been, like, just some... It was just some lady that was like, I can talk to her. I can talk to monsters. I can speak to them. Give me a book deal. I'll speak to the monster for you. I'll let you know when she's in love. The monster's saying she's in love. If that lady was lying, that is the most important woman in history. The greatest con man that ever lived was actually a woman, kids. There was a brave lady that took advantage of a disabled girl and made millions of dollars. That's your Gordon Gekko, basically. I don't know. Those were the kind of jobs we used to have 100 years ago, back when things were cooking. It was all good jobs. Every job was being a different type of liar, basically. There's no fun jobs like that anymore. There's only one that's close, which is being the guy at Apple that comes up with the new emojis every update. That is an 1880s liar's job. Because everyone else at Apple has to be a computer programmer, and then there's one guy that gets to show up at every update meeting being like, poof, okay, here's my 10 guys I drew, so wow. Yeah, good job, team. We all worked the same hard as each other on this one. So I'm gonna go to lunch, but yeah, that's a wrap. Definitely. But why that job's really good is because, like, I don't know if you pay attention to the new emojis every update, but there's always, like, 90% of them are bullshit, but they always throw in 4 or 5 that are just bait for Fox News. That's it. That's the only reason they're in there. Like, every time it'll be a snowman or a takeout food box or an Indian guy marrying a dog, and then fucking... Sean Hannity sees it, and he's like, what the fuck is this? Stay away from my dog, Vikram. You know, he loses his fucking mind. Like the last update. You remember the last update? It was the pregnant man emoji that fucking they went crazy. Which they didn't even say it was a pregnant man. It was just a guy doing this. He could have just been full. You don't even know. He could have just eaten too much cum. You don't know that he was pregnant, right? But then Tucker saw it and he's like, it's the end of the world. Want to use your iPhone? Time to get nutted in. It's the future Apple wants. What is going on? Who wants this? Who wants to eat cum to use their phone? I miss that show. It's so funny to watch and imagine like a 95-year-old being like, I have to eat cum now. They've been addicted to Fox News forever. Tucker says I have to eat cum, or grandson won't call us anymore. Yeah, that update was funny too because one of the other like sort of baity emojis they added was, I guess I don't really know the word for it. I guess you would call it the Stephen Hawking style wheelchair, you know? Like not just motorized, but like the fucking command center and like the whole deal. And how I know it was bait is because one of the default emojis had like a woman with short cropped windswept hair. So it had this like out of my way, I'm disabled kind of vibe to it. Like, I'm on my way to Girl Boss, the parking spots. And it was funny to me that they put that in there because they already had a regular wheelchair emoji. And I guess that's fine. It's like representation or something. But like, what is the conversation we're making? The distinction between those two types of wheelchairs is remotely acceptable via emoji, right? Like, who would you be talking to where they're like, oh, I'm disabled, by the way? You're like, interesting. Are you a regular wheelchair? Or Stephen Hawking wheelchair? You're like, oh, I'm Stephen Hawking wheelchair. You're like, oh, great, we'll have dinner at your place then, I guess. Seems to make the most sense because I don't have the van with the big battery. You guys miss him, by the way? You guys miss Stephen Hawking? Good. I did a show, I asked, and one guy was like, he was a fucking nerd. Coming all aggro about it. Which is very funny, because the guy was right. He was a nerd. But you just don't think about Stephen Hawking on, like, the nerd-jock continuum. Because you think he would have escaped that at some point in his life. It's hilarious to imagine a 65-year-old Stephen Hawking leaving a lecture hall at Princeton being like, and that's the way the universe works. Then he goes outside, and there's just a guy in a Letterman jacket that's like, yes. Hey, boys, here comes Wheels. Let's fucking get his ass. He's like, please stop. Leave me alone.
That is fucked
His
up.
hair's gray. Take his computer. Look up gay porn on his computer. Pull up guys fucking on there. Hey, everybody, look what the nerd's looking at on it. Yeah, sometimes women will get mad too. Like, I've had women be like, well, you know, he cheated on his wife. And I'm like, tell me exactly what happened, right? He cheated on his wife. And it's like, everybody knows that too. Which is like, how did that story get out other than his wife telling people? Which that's gotta be wild. Can you imagine being one of her friends and you're like, how's it going? She's like, tough week. Steven cheated on me. And then you have to be like, oh. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened. Yeah, that's tough, definitely. I personally miss him a lot. I didn't at first. He was like one of those celebrities that died and I didn't give a shit, and then I missed him later. Which I guess really the only other example of that is Paul Walker, probably. Yeah. That one hit me, right? Because you remember the headline when Paul Walker died? It said, Paul Walker dies in fiery car crash. I had the same reaction as every other American. I said, yeah, that is ironic. That is a irony. Then Fast and Furious 6 came out, and I cried. Stephen Hawking, same thing. I bet they chill. I bet they're friends, wherever they wound up. Paul Walker and Stephen Hawking. Paul Walker's like, let's see how fast we can get this chair together. Let's see if we can get a 10-second chair out of you, dude. He's just like fucking with the oxygen tank. He's like, dude, is this NOS? Stephen Hawking's head's just getting bigger. Please stop. You're killing me more. Please stop it.
Killing me more.
I'll tell you, my favorite thing about Stephen Hawking, the thing I love the most about him is I love that he had glasses. That always tickled me. That was always so funny to me. That Stephen Hawking had glasses? Like, to be that fucked up, and then you're still like, I think something's wrong with my eyes. I think I better get my eyes checked out before this gets any worse. I think that's... Can you imagine Stephen Hawking just bashing his way into a lens crafters? Can you help me? They're like, no. You need like a battery or something. Not a fucking eye exam. I don't know why you think.
Holy shit.
I tell you what I didn't like though is that Stephen Hawking movie. That thing was a bummer. From top to bottom. Even the name, Theory of Everything. That's not the name of his theory, right? It was like they got somebody's cousin from Staten Island to write the whole thing. Somebody was like, hey, Tony, give us a Stephen Hawking movie. He's like, yeah, no problem. I got your Stephen Hawking movie right here. All right. Yeah. No, so check this out. All right, so he's Stephen Hawking. He's a scientist. This guy's a fucking genius, right? So Yeah, no, he came up with a theory of fucking everything, this guy. So, yeah, he came up with everything. All right, and so here's the movie. He's normal, and then he's retarded. That's it. So, that's it. Give me the Oscar. And that is the movie. I don't know if you've seen the movie. That's the narrative arc of that movie. It starts off, he's walking around. He has his original voice. Did you ever hear his original voice? He was like, I think I'm going to go to university for math. Did you know he sounded like that? He had that Mary Poppins voice. I saw that, and I was like, wow. So he was retarded the whole time. What an uplifting story about this man who triumphed over odds. But yeah, no, the worst part about the movie is that guy did win. He won like the best actor award that year for that fucking movie. And I don't think it was a good performance because like Stephen Hawking in real life, he had ALS, which is a degenerative disease. It gets worse and worse. Remember Ice Bucket Challenge? Yeah. Well, I guess you remember that, but not ALS. That goes okay. Yeah, so that's what Stephen Hawking had. He had ice bucket disease. No, but it's like a degenerative disease, right? And I guess that can be hard for an actor to portray, right? At one point, they can put him in the wheelchair, but leading up to that, he has to show this process of degeneration. And the way he chose to do that is at a certain point during the movie, he's wearing glasses, but he starts doing this like Jerry Lewis, like... He's like, my knees don't feel too good. And then the Academy Awards saw it and they were like, that was the best performance of the year. That's probably exactly how it happened at Cambridge University. They were sending him to class looking like the nutty professor, I guess. Anyways, that's the last naughty thing I have to say. I'm glad you guys aren't mad at that. I had a lady get mad at me. She said it was ableist to make fun of Stephen Hawking, which I disagreed with, right? Because I said it can't be, because he's dead. Right? Yeah. And I believe that. I don't think you can be ableist to somebody that's dead, right? If you think it's ableist to make fun of Stephen Hawking now, that means you think he's still in the chair in heaven, right? Hello? And that would be a pretty fucked up heaven, I'd imagine. Can you believe that? You do the best math in the world for 80 years, you finally get up there, you're like, can I please get some pussy? And they're like, nope, back in the chair, pal. Yeah. We got math up here, too. There's numbers you crunch. All right, that's it for me. You guys are good.
That's a shit heaven.
Thank you so much. Keep it going for Adam. I appreciate it so much. Get home safe. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
All right. I gotta say, that was pretty good. This concludes the third episode. Nick Mullen Year of the Dragon, I think is what it's called. That sounds like some Bruce Lee shit or something. It was based on that title. I thought he was gonna bust out with some karate moves or some shit. Holy shit. I gotta say, that was pretty entertaining. Shout out to Flex Studio Flex. Shout out to that dude for suggesting this. He kept bugging me about it, but you know, if you have more suggestions, just to let you guys know, doing a full special is pretty hard for me to do, especially with this bullshit iOS update. I don't know if you guys saw my message, but I've been having a lot of issues. For those of you that don't know, I'm a tech geek. Like, whenever there's a new update, I'm quick to do it, and I've never really had problems up until now. So I got the iOS beta, and I'm having all kinds of issues. But anyways, there's so much shit to unfold on this, right? Like, he starts talking about Stephen Hawking and Helen Keller and Anne Frank. Like, this dude's all over the place, and it's always some dark shit. And then he walks the line, right? Like, I feel like some leftist watching this is gonna get offended, right? Or probably did if I were to look it up to see if he got any hate, right? But on the flip side, I feel like there's some right folks watching this and the same thing, right? Like, I feel like he was offending everybody. And you know what? I love it. You know, I welcome that shit, right? If you can walk the fine line and just shit all over everybody, more power to you. And if you can do it in a way where it makes everybody laugh, you know? dude's pretty hilarious. You know, leading up to this, I had no idea what this dude looked like. I just saw him on Cumtown, and yeah, I want to say he's the same guy that was talking about the GameStop, where he worked at GameStop and then his boss shitted all over the place or something. I don't know. I posted that video a little bit ago, so go watch that too. But anyways, that's all I really got. You guys take care. Peace out.